Did you know that an African queen once scorned a Roman emperor, leading to a failed invasion? This is just one of the many untold stories of Africa, a continent whose history is far richer and more complex than most textbooks would have you believe. We begin our journey in the ancient kingdom of Nubia, south of Egypt. In the 1st century CE, a powerful queen of the kingdom of Kush, part of Nubia, demonstrated her defiance against the Roman Empire. When the Romans erected a statue of the emperor, she had it deliberately defaced in a bold act of resistance. The Nubian terrain proved too challenging for the Roman legions. Their campaign faltered. Centuries later, in the 10th century, the Nubian kingdoms of Makuria and Alodia stood as steadfast protectors of Coptic Christians. Makuria went so far as to defend the Coptic Patriarch of Alexandria against Muslim Egypt. Eventually, dynastic union formed between Makuria and Alodia. But these kingdoms faced immense challenges, leading to their collapse by the 16th century due to Mamluk aggression, plague, and migrating Bedouin tribes. This led to the rise of the Funj Sultanate. Moving westward, we arrive in the 13th century, an era when the Mali Empire rose to prominence. Founded by Sundiata Keita, who defeated Sumaworo Kente at the Battle of Kirina around 1235 CE, this empire became a beacon of culture and learning. The Great Mosque of Jen, a magnificent structure, became a major center of scholarship, blending Islamic traditions with indigenous West African customs and fostering an environment where knowledge thrived. The Mali Empire's influence stretched far and wide, leaving an indelible mark on West Africa. Fast forward to the late 19th century, a dark chapter in African history began. The Berlin Conference of 1884-1885. 14 European powers gathered to carve up the continent, drawing arbitrary borders that disregarded existing ethnic and cultural boundaries. This conference formalized the scramble for Africa, a period of rapid colonization fueled by technological advancements like machine guns and steamships. Only Ethiopia managed to maintain its independence, a testament to its military strength and diplomatic prowess. The impact of the Berlin Conference was devastating. It disrupted societies, trade networks, and political systems, laying the groundwork for future conflicts and instability that continue to plague many African nations today. The early 20th century brought another wave of upheaval. World War I forced European powers to conscript African colonial soldiers. These soldiers, fighting for their colonizers on distant battlefields, gained invaluable military experience and a new perspective on the world. Upon their return, they became instrumental in fueling independence movements across the continent. They had seen the world, and they knew that colonial rule was not inevitable. One such example is Ghana, which achieved independence in 1957, becoming the first sub-Saharan African nation to break free from British colonial rule. This pivotal moment inspired other African nations to fight for their freedom, paving the way for the Year of Africa in 1960. In 1960, 17 countries gained their independence, including Mali, Senegal, Nigeria, and the Democratic Republic of Congo, among others. This wave of decolonization marked a turning point in African history, signaling the end of an era of European domination. However, the legacy of colonialism continued to haunt these newly independent nations. Artificial borders, imposed by European powers, led to ethnic conflicts and political instability. Economic exploitation continued, as former colonial powers sought to maintain their influence through neo-colonial means. The fight for true independence and self-determination was far from over. Even before the scramble for Africa, resistance against European encroachment was already brewing in places like the Horn of Africa. The Zagwe dynasty, a Christian kingdom, contested hegemony with Muslim Shua and traditionalist Damat. The Solomonic dynasty eventually overthrew the Zagwe in the late 13th century. Further south, the Ajuran Sultanate ruled the southern Somali coast until its disintegration. And across the continent, kingdoms like Darfur and Chad rose after the decline of earlier powers, engaging in frequent slave raids southward. These examples demonstrate the complex and dynamic nature of pre-colonial African societies, constantly evolving and adapting to changing circumstances. We cannot ignore the devastating impact of the transatlantic slave trade, which forcibly transported over 11 million Africans to the Americas and the Caribbean between the 16th and 19th centuries. This unprecedented loss of human life reshaped demographics and economies on both sides of the Atlantic, leaving a lasting scar on African societies. While slavery existed in Africa before the arrival of Europeans, the scale and brutality of the transatlantic slave trade were unparalleled. It fueled conflict and instability, undermining traditional social structures and hindering economic development. The fight for liberation continues to this day. The echoes of past struggles resonate in contemporary challenges. Post-colonial instability, ethnic conflicts, and economic inequalities are all legacies of colonialism and the slave trade. But amidst these challenges, there are also signs of resilience and hope. The African Union, for example, represents a renewed commitment to regional integration and cooperation. Efforts to promote democracy, good governance, and sustainable development are underway across the continent. The story of Africa is far from over. It is a story of resilience, resistance, and the enduring spirit of a people who have overcome immense challenges. By understanding the complexities of Africa's past, we can better appreciate the challenges and opportunities facing the continent today. The UNESCO General History of Africa project, launched in 1964, stands as a testament to the importance of reframing African history from an African perspective. This 8-volume series, written by African experts, covers the continent's history from human origins to the modern diaspora, challenging Eurocentric biases and providing a more nuanced and accurate account of Africa's past. Let us continue to explore, learn, and celebrate the rich and diverse history of Africa, a continent whose story deserves to be told. The narratives of resistance, innovation, and cultural richness need to be amplified to undo years of misrepresentation and ignorance. Ultimately, this is not just about correcting the record, but about understanding the human story in all its complexity and diversity. Africa's story is everyone's story. Its struggles and triumphs are part of the shared human experience. By embracing this understanding, we can build a more just and equitable world for all.